So today we're going to take what you learned with the 2-point perspective boxes video, and we're going to create 2-point perspective cities. Just like before, you're going to start with your horizon line, which is where your sky meets the ground. Draw it somewhere near the middle of your paper, straight across. And you're going to put vanishing point 1 on the left side, and because it's 2-point perspective, you need vanishing point 2 on the right side. I'm going to start in the middle of my page with a line that goes above my horizon line to below my horizon line. And I'm going to connect the bottom of that line to vanishing point 1 and the bottom of that line to vanishing point 2. Just like we did yesterday or whenever you watched the last video. Then we're going to do the top of that line to vanishing point 1. Let's draw it kind of light because you're going to have to erase part of it later. And the top of that line to vanishing point 2. We're going to line up our ruler with that center line. Push it towards vanishing point 1 and connect the 2 perspective lines that you drew. And line up that ruler again and push it towards vanishing point 2 and connect those 2 perspective lines. Then we're going to erase the rest of the perspective lines on the top. We're going to leave the bottom ones for now. And you're going to erase the horizon line that goes through your first building. Okay. For now, we're just going to leave it like that. This is going to represent the edge of your sidewalk or the edge of your road. So we're going to leave this the whole time. On the right side, we're going to walk up the sidewalk just a little bit and put a dot. Then we're going to draw a vertical line. And I'm going to make this one taller than my first building. Now the bottom of that line is already connected to vanishing point 2. So all we need to do is connect it to vanishing point 1 by connecting it backwards. And you can stop once you hit that building. You do not have to go all the way across. Then at the top, we're going to connect to vanishing point 2 and to vanishing point 1. And again, I'm going to stop when I hit that building. I'm going to line up my ruler. I'm going to push it towards vanishing point 1. And I'm going to go from the top perspective line and just connect it down to that building. So this shows that I have the side of that building, and I can go and erase that little corner. So this is the side of the building going behind your first building, and this is going to be like a little alleyway. So you're going to leave that there to represent a little walkway or a little space between the 2 buildings. Then I'm going to line up my ruler again, push towards vanishing point 2, and connect those perspective lines. Then I can erase the top and have a second building. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So we're going to walk up the road on the left, draw a vertical line. The vertical line at the bottom is already connected to vanishing point 1, so you need to connect it backwards to vanishing point 2 until it hits your first building you drew. Then you need to connect the top of your vertical line to vanishing point 1 and the top of your vertical line to vanishing point 2 until it hits that first building. Okay, when I line it up this time, I'm going to push towards vanishing point 1 and connect the perspective lines. You do not have to push it towards vanishing point 2 because the connection or the end of that building would have been back here somewhere on the back side or behind our first building. I'm going to erase the top perspective line. I'm going to erase the horizon line that goes through my building. And I've got 3 buildings. I'm going to go ahead and do these same steps one more time, and I did not erase that horizon line. One more time on each side so that I've got 5 buildings in total. Once we have our buildings, we need to actually start making them look like buildings and create a city, not just a bunch of blocks. The first thing that every building needs is a door in order for you to be able to enter. Now, your doors, the top of the door frame, is always going to point towards the vanishing point of whichever side of the building it's on. So what I mean by that is if I have a door right here, the top of that door frame is going to point towards this vanishing point. So I'm going to draw myself a little dashed line. And the sides of the door are always going to be vertical. So they're going to be parallel with this center line. So go ahead and just push over to make sure that they're parallel. I see a lot of people that have some wonky doors that go this way or they go this way. All of your lines are either going to be horizontal, straight across, vertical, up and down, or perspective lines that are going to point towards one of your two vanishing points. Those are the only three directions. You shouldn't have one that goes some wonky direction. If I can't line my ruler up with a line and figure out that it's going horizontal, vertical, or to one of my two vanishing points, then that line is incorrect. It's a great way to check yourself. So let's go ahead and add doors on each of these buildings. Bit for this door. Remember, as they get further away, these doors are probably going to get a little bit smaller because your viewpoint has them receding or going away from you. So this building way down the road is going to appear teeny tiny. Maybe a little too teeny tiny. And on this side, so on this one, since it's a corner building, let's put a door on either side. So I'm going to line that up so they're about the same height. So I know that I want it to start about there and go towards the vanishing point. I can always use the side of the building to make sure that my lines are vertical. Got two doors on that one. On these, we're gonna line up a couple more doors. Do the sides of those doors. Okay. Now, if you're anything like me, if you find a room that does not have a window, it's kind of depressing. So, let's go ahead and add some windows. You can do this several different ways. So if this is a high rise and I want this to be more of a fancy building, I can line up my ruler, and since it's 3.5 inches high, I'm going to make a little mark every 1/2 inch along the center line. Okay. Then I'm going to make this building in all glass other than where the doors are. So I'm going to line up with that first mark pointing towards vanishing point number 2 and draw a line skipping my door. And I'm going to have to rotate this every time to make sure that each line points towards vanishing point number 2. I'm going to draw stripes across my building to represent an all glass building. On the other side, they've got to point towards vanishing point number 1. Now, the temptation here, and what I see a lot of people do the first few times, is that all of their lines start to slant upwards. Then they aren't pointing at the vanishing point anymore. Make sure that you're lined up with your vanishing point every single time. So that means at some point your lines go from pointing upward to pointing downwards. Okay. So I've got me an all glass building with a nice little entrance. What if my building on the left side is a more traditional apartment building and I want regular, more traditional style windows on them? In that case, I want all of my lines to point towards the vanishing point on that side. So this is the right side of the building. So even though it's on the left side of the page, it's going to point back towards the right vanishing point. Always pay attention to which vanishing point the top and bottom of that side are pointing towards. That'll help you figure out which direction you need to be going. So for this one, let's make it 2 stories, which is perfect because it's 2 inches. So I'm gonna make, let's see, I'm gonna make a mark at 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch. And I'm gonna draw some real light lines. These are really just guiding lines. Some real light lines going back towards vanishing point number 2. Okay. And then I need to draw my windows. So my first windows, I'm gonna put, they need to be parallel. So I'm gonna put a window here and a window up here. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. And I'm gonna put the sides of a window right here as if it's going back behind. And then what I'm gonna do is these squares that I've created are going to be my windows. And I'm gonna erase the in-between. And then this will be a window. It's a really thick line, so I'm gonna straighten that up. Okay. And I could add some little curtains if I wanted to. Make them look more like windows. Okay. And in the front, I probably need some windows there too. So we'll put at the same height. So we're gonna start with these same lines we made. Make sure you're skipping over the door. Going towards, remember this is the left side of the building, so we're going towards vanishing point number 1, or the left vanishing point. And on this one, I'm gonna push in just a little bit and put a window on this side of the door. And a window on this side of the door. And I can erase the lines in between. And this one looks kind of weird to me, so I'm gonna add one more window in the middle above the door. And you can do all kinds of things to those. You can have a little flower box here. You could have some window panes. If you put the window pane, then you need to make sure the center of the window pane also lines up with the vanishing point. So maybe we'll put some little window boxes on both sides. Notice I'm making sure those go towards the vanishing point too. These So we could just leave the sliding where these slide up and down, so you could just put one and not put a center panel. You can make any kind of windows that you want. I'm gonna go ahead and shade right in here between this little alleyway between the two buildings. And it bugs me that there's no sidewalk. People are gonna live there, so I'm gonna come straight down and make a dot, and I'm gonna connect that back to vanishing point number 1 and vanishing point number 2 to give us a sidewalk where people can walk on. And then you can come even further down. We're coming straight down and connect those for the street that people can actually drive on. So starting to make this look like a real city. You can even come in the middle because you need to have where people can drive, and draw some dashed lines. So you need to make sure that as you get further down the road, the dashed lines get smaller and closer together, so that they look as if they are actually getting further away from you. So it's all about perspective. Just make it smaller and closer together as they get further and further away. They kind of fade off into the background. All right, what if the building on the right side, I wanted it to look like bricks? It's gonna be really similar to how I did this. It's actually gonna be identical to begin with. So I'm gonna line my ruler up, figure out how tall my building is. It's 3 inches. So I'm gonna make a mark at every 1/2 inch. And you can always make these wider or smaller. It's completely up to you. 1/2 inch is just a really easy way to measure. I'm on the right side of the building. I go towards the right vanishing point and make sure I line up every time. So if that is anywhere near the horizon line, it should be straight across. If it's above the horizon line, it should be going down, and below the horizon line should be pointed up. Some easy rules of thumb here. Okay, if I'm doing the left side of the building, even if it's on the right side of the paper, it needs to go towards the left vanishing point because it's the left side of the building. So I'm gonna line these up across the paper to the left vanishing point. So this should feel exactly how you just did these. Now, the difference is we're gonna create bricks with these. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna line up with this center line. I'm gonna push over, and I'm gonna connect every other line. Just every other line. Then I'm gonna come over a little bit more and connect the lines that I did not connect the first time. Push over again, connect the first ones. And remember, this is getting further away, so these bricks need to get a little smaller, a little closer together the further down the road you go. Okay. And then on this side, I'm gonna do it this way. Probably need to do the edge of this brick first. So I'm doing the opposite of where I started, the lines that I started for the last one. And then this one, we're only gonna finish that one. We're gonna come down. Could probably do a small line right here. Finish it right there. Okay, I would do something to differentiate the door, because when I did this, I completely lost my door. So you could do that by doing it dark. You could do it, let's see how I want to do this. I'm gonna do this as if it's recessed, like you have to go through a tunnel to get to the door, through a little overhang. So from this bottom right of the door, I'm gonna go back to my left vanishing point and draw a little line. And I can shade this really, really dark. And shade this kind of a medium, because it is going to be in the shadow down. As if there's like a little tunnel, a little overhang you have to walk inside of to get to the door of the building. And you can always go back and add windows to that one as well. You can add bricks or windows or glass or whatever you want to the other sides. These should give you some really basics on how to start your city. Just for fun, let's add a little bit more to our city. So I'm gonna come down here one more time. I'm gonna create a second sidewalk. Still going towards vanishing point number 1 and vanishing point number 2. We're gonna look at what it would look like to put something on the other side of the road. Now we worked on all those boxes on the boxes video that were above and below the horizon line. So let's create one of those. Let's put a line here. I'm gonna connect it to vanishing point number 1 and vanishing point number 2. And I didn't draw all the way across because I didn't want to have to erase all the way across my city. And we're gonna connect this to vanishing point number 1, vanishing point number 2. We're gonna line that up, push it towards vanishing point number 1. Line it up and push it towards vanishing point number 2. To the top of our building. So if we're at the top right corner, we're gonna go across to vanishing point number 1, or the left vanishing point. If we're at the top left corner, we're going to the right vanishing point till it meets. Erase the part of the road that goes through my roof. And the part of the road that goes through the side of my building. I've got a building sitting on the other side of the road. And I could put, let's see, what do I want to put there? I could put some parking spaces in the back. So for anybody that wants to park in the back, I'm gonna line up and do a light little line here, and then I'm gonna darken up some areas as if it was little pieces that you park against, little concrete pieces that you can pull your car up to. And then I'm gonna mark those off by going back towards vanishing point number 1. Don't draw too dark because some of this might have to be erased. Okay, and then we want the edges to be even with going towards vanishing point number 2. So I just erase so that the edges of those parking spaces go right there. So I've got some parking in the back, which means it'd be really silly to not have a back door. So I'm gonna create me a back door. Now, this one is really tempting for people to have a sideways door. We need vertical lines. So go ahead and line up the center line, push towards the top or towards the edge of the door, and push towards the edge of the door again. And make sure that you've got these are parallel lines, and that still is not perfectly parallel. So I'm gonna fix it. So it should be parallel. And I'm gonna go ahead and make that a double door. I'm going to put a little line going towards vanishing point number 2 for the little push and pull handles that everybody always picks the wrong direction. Okay, so I've got me a little building back here. I could shade the roof. I don't know why, but I feel like the roof should be darker than the rest of the building. You could take a few minutes and make it brick, or add some windows to the side. But now you've got you another building. You could put some more down here. Could put a park over here and put you some benches and some trees or a swing set. Really want you to make this your own. The last thing I'm going to show you for this video is most of the city blocks that I've been to for bigger cities, you can see a lot more than just 4 or 5 buildings. So back behind here, there should be other cities on the horizon in the background. So I'm just going to pick a spot and draw a vertical line. And then I'm going to connect the top of that vertical line towards vanishing point 1, and the top of that vertical line towards vanishing point 2. I'm going to line that up and come over and come down until I hit one of my buildings. Line it up again and come down until I hit one of my buildings. We've got a couple of high rises that are starting to take shape in the background, and you can keep just adding these wherever makes sense to you. But if we're drawing a larger city, you're definitely going to have some buildings in the background. So we can just start to build up on our city. There. I'm going to put one more small one here. And you can really add as many of those as your paper allows. Just make sure that you're going back later and adding some windows or some kind of defining. You can put billboards up there. So if I wanted right up here to have a billboard, can draw, still going even with the vanishing point. Still using vertical lines. On the sides. Draw me a little billboard up there. I could decorate it and draw whatever I want behind that. Make some kind of an image or something to represent what this building is going to be. Really, the sky is the limit. I want you guys to have fun with this. Just really make sure that all of your lines are vertical, horizontal, or perspective lines that end at one of the two perspective points. Spend a good amount of time practicing this, making sure you really understand the principles of perspective. There's something you're going to see reoccurring throughout some future projects. Have fun and keep creating.